You're absolutely right about that, and both of these women are also seen hooking up at All In. Of course, they were in the big women's fatal four-way match, which really set the stage for what I'm going to guess is the women's division as part of this new AEW promotion. Not that either of these women are necessarily involved with that. And Tessa Blanchard, I've had a series of interviews recently where her name has come up. I was talking with Gail Kim actually just a couple days ago, and she told me that she heard rumblings of how good Tessa Blanchard was for months before she actually got to lay her eyes on her. And everything she said she heard about how good Tessa Blanchard is, the pedigree she brings to the game, she's absolutely lived up to that and more. She is a shining star right now in professional wrestling.
And that's coming from Gail Kim.
From Gail Kim, absolutely. Another name I recently talked to where Tessa's name came up, Rich, the name David McLean. Does that name mean anything to you? David McLean was the founder of Glow, and he's also going to be bringing back Women of Wrestling on Access TV, working with Mark Cuban, and Tessa Blanchard is going to be a centerpiece of that. The founder of Glow, same thing. He said to me, I heard about Tessa Blanchard for months before I got to meet her. As soon as I sat down, I said, I got to make a deal with Impact Wrestling. I need this woman a part of Women of Wrestling. It is a hot time for wrestling. It's a hot time for free agents. Not that Tessa is, but she's in demand.
You know, she finally convinced Britt, come on, we'll shake hands. We're going to do this for real. And Britt not taking too kindly to that.
I don't necessarily have a problem with her taking the hand away, but she turned her back there to Britt Baker, which is never a good idea. Britt Baker immediately took advantage of that. Kind of surprised that Tessa would do something so foolhardy like that to start the bout, but she's still got time ahead of her to knock the kinks out of her game.
Britt with that long reach and those long legs. She's got, what do you think about it? An inch, 2-inch height advantage on Tessa, so a little bit of an advantage there.
You're right about that, but I don't necessarily see this so much as a size fight as it is a technical bout. Both of these women so synonymous with their grappling on the mat, their submission skills. And let's be honest here, Britt Baker, a dentist. If there's one thing I know firsthand, dentists specialize in pain.
Baker able to grab hold of the bottom rope.
Referee Brian Stifler here, breaking the hold. And then Tessa here quickly reapplying it.
Get the foot on the bottom rope. I don't know if the referee saw that.
Well, I think that Stifler here, the referee...
Is that really his name, Stifler?
Brian Stifler, yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's had a lot of time in the business. He's refereed a lot of high-profile bouts, knowing how much is on the line here at Warrior Wrestling as we continue to find the landscape for women's wrestling at Warrior Wrestling. I think he's going to let these two women get away with a little bit here tonight.
In the early stages of this matchup, if you want to call it a feeling out process. I mean, these two, I said it before, these two have wrestled each other in the past. They've studied tape on each other. So this isn't like your first time matchup where, okay, I'm not quite sure what the other can do. They know what they can do. It's almost a matter of kind of trying to be more patient. One count there and kind of waiting for your opponent to misstep a little bit.
Yeah, but that's the thing is if you've wrestled the other person a couple times and you know how they move and you know that the other person can expect your moves, well, maybe that's your chance to become more creative here. Tessa Blanchard here, look at those vicious back elbows right there in the corner. I've got to think there's more to her arsenal than just a couple bouts here that's going to catch Britt Baker off guard.
Blanchard with a big match in Tennessee coming up.
Yes, tomorrow night, of course, homecoming. Putting the Impact Women's Championship on the line against Taya Valkyrie. And again, Gail Kim will be that guest referee.
Tonight we are here in Chicago, Illinois. Tessa getting the one count on Britt. Warrior Wrestling 3. Coming to you live on the High Spots Wrestling Network. Rich Bocchini, Nick Hausman.
It is interesting to think, Rich, with Tessa Blanchard, the Impact Wrestling Women's Champion, Britt Baker not in the Impact Women's Division, the Knockouts Division, not in WWE, not in Ring of Honor. With all these AEW rumors, just a very interesting name to think about.
Saw somebody, the heck with it. I saw Tyler Breeze tweet today, options. That was his tweet, options. What do you think he meant? We know what he meant. You get a one count right there.
think that he's thinking what everybody else is thinking out right now, Rich. And I've been telling people all week, Warrior Wrestling 3, there's not just going to be a lot of great action. There's going to be a lot of great stars trying to make a statement. This is a statement show, Rich. And that's how you make a statement right there.
Baker trying to put it away. Imagine the upset this would be.
It's early 2019. A lot of money being thrown around in pro wrestling. If you can put on a great match, if you can pick up a big win, it can open up every door in the building.
Kick to the gut, kick to the chin, and Baker into the cover. Tessa out at 2. Now, we should note the title is not on the line in this matchup.
No, it's not on the line. Of course, Tessa has to put that title on the line tomorrow night at Homecoming. But regardless if the belt's on the line or not, a win over the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion is a big win. You don't need to walk out with the gold. You just need to walk out.
Come on!
Look at that. And Brian Stifler put himself right. Referee Stifler put himself in right between these two women.
And Tessa able to take advantage. Now, that was kind of, I got to give it to Tessa. I mean, that's bending the rules, but that was crafty on her part.
Well, of course, Tessa has a pedigree here of notable rule breakers in the past. So,
well, it's an interesting, I've always thought it was kind of an interesting, I don't know, obviously Tully Blanchard's daughter, but grew up with Magnum TA. Magnum's her stepdad. So you think of the rivalry that those two had.
Very interesting to think about what it would be like around the Thanksgiving table for sure.
It's just more fascinating to me what she's been able to pick up just through osmosis over her lifetime from both her dad and her stepdad. It's crazy to think about. Double knees right into the jaw.
And as the business has evolved, Rich, as much as she can learn from those great names, Tully, Magnum, you're not going to see Tully and Magnum doing something like that in the corner. I mean, she has really made a name for herself. She's picked up on the style. She's one step ahead, fast as a cat.
Probably for a lot of the younger fans that are watching, they hear the names, Magnum TA, Tully Blanchard, and maybe aren't familiar with them.
There it is. I hate to cut you off, but as I was saying earlier, these women are known for their submission and their groundwork. Right here, a very inventive submission move from Tessa Blanchard. Applying not just pressure to the knees here, but also the hips as she's starting to pry those legs in different directions. And look at her with that right leg there, keeping both ankles of Britt's completely in control. Britt's going to have to use her upper body to maneuver her way out of this if she can.
I think that, the simple point that I was trying to make was, well, hold on here.
This is incredible.
I don't even know what you call this.
This is what I said, though, Rich. Look, you said these women know each other so well. I said, well, then you got to show up with something different. This is different, Rich. This is not high-flying, though we may see a bit of that here. Who knows?
Well, just to close my thought, and you said it, Tessa has made her name on her own. You can say Magnum TA, Tully Blanchard all you want. Again, to some of the younger fans, they may not know who those two guys are, which you need to learn. But that said, I mean, Tessa is that good that she doesn't need to hitch her wagon to their names.
She's got it all, the total package in every way. The looks, the charm, the charisma, the in-ring brutality, the grappling skills, the submission skills.
Is she
the improvisational skills? Look at this.
We didn't get a good shot of it. I think that she was twisting or pulling the fingers apart, using the guardrail as almost like a fulcrum.
It's almost very British wrestling inspired there. A lot of British wrestlers go for those knuckles and those fingers. And Tessa, of course, world traveled at this point, picking up tips from every corner of the planet.
Referee trying to get them back inside the ring. Britt Baker trying to answer back with some offense of her own. You see her trying to get the feeling back in that right arm.
Well, it's a statement show, Rich. And that's the thing is, as Britt Baker can say, how is the best way for me to make a statement? Is it to pin or submit the Impact Knockouts champion, or is it to leave her in a pile of blood on the outside with her teeth missing? Of course, if her teeth were missing, Britt could put them back in because she is a dentist.
You're saying she could put her own teeth back in?
Of course, I saw her fixing her jaw earlier. I think that, that helps her.
Cover. And Blanchard going right back to work on the right arm.
Excellent. Another submission here from Tessa Blanchard.
Look at those shots to the underarm.
And it's not just that she's putting Britt Baker in knots. If you notice, every time she ties her up, she always has one or two hands free to be able to punish with blows at the same time.
Oh, stop it on the hand that was whipped into the guardrail. Over the past year or so, Tessa, to me anyway, has developed a lot more of an edge in her in-ring work.
She's been pushed there. I mean, when you're taking on the best female talent on the planet every night of the week, and sometimes male talent as well, as Tessa's had some incredible intergender matches. You know, the first couple bouts, you've got some hesitance. You're learning your way. Tessa's so far beyond that at this point. And when you drop that smiley, I'm new to the business act, you start to create an edge. And that's where Tessa's at now.
Tessa got her left leg tied up on the top ropes, the two trading shots.
And you can see Tessa here, even though she seems to be in control, definitely feeling some pain.
Standing waist lock. Might have been going for a German suplex. Baker able to hold on to the top rope. Oh! Side suplex by Baker.
And this is the kind of thing that Britt has needed to turn the tide. This match has decidedly not really been in her favor up until this point. But maybe now, maybe that side suplex, maybe this moment to rest and be on the ground, get her composure. This is exactly what Britt Baker's needed.
She's really favoring that right shoulder.
Well, Tessa's been working that shoulder. As you saw her just stretch it out there on the ground earlier when she had her tied up in knots. Every chance she's gotten, she's gone back to that shoulder. It not only makes it a soft spot for a submission, but you see, as Britt is throwing those blows right now, maybe not with the same velocity.
I was thinking that on the outside when she was chopping away at Tessa that maybe there really wasn't as much behind those shots as she would like. Doesn't even seem to be.
And Tessa is ready to go.
Phase her.
Not phased, ready to go.
It's almost challenging Baker to hit her as hard as she can, and she's absorbing that punishment. Oh!
Well, if you're a boxer and you're trying to lure the other boxer into going off on you, it's because you're trying to tire that other boxer out. That may be the strategy here with Tessa. Let Britt exhaust herself in a flurry of energy and then find an opening.
Sling blade and Baker into the cover for the upset.
Well, if that was the strategy, if I'm Tessa right now, I'm starting to rethink that strategy because this has gone on too long.
That sling blade really hit its mark.
And look at Britt Baker. You can see the glimmer in her eye that she knows she's got a real opportunity here.
All it takes is that split second to turn it back around.
And you got to keep on them. You can't get them to their feet. You got to be hitting them at the same time. She's picking that up from Tessa.
Baker was thinking fisherman suplex. Attempted a snapmare. Oh!
That was very inventive there. That full Nelson into a face buster.
And Baker's still able to power out.
Seen a lot here from Tessa tonight that I haven't seen yet. Maybe this is a chance for her to try out a couple things she's thinking of using on Taya Valkyrie tomorrow night. But you can't think ahead in a situation like this.
Baker trying to steal it. It's all about right now. Regardless, as you said, whether or not the title's on the line for Britt, that would be a huge momentum builder. But for Tessa going into a title match tomorrow night, you know what does that do to your psyche to go in with a loss?
Well, here she is. Oh, trying to go for something high risk.
Oh!
And maybe that's why she missed, Rich. Maybe she's thinking ahead.
Ducks under the clothesline. Wow!
Face first, big cutter right in the middle of the ring.
That could do it. Baker again pops the shoulder up at 2 3/4. Man.
Well, and that's what I was getting at, Rich. What does that do to the psyche? I mean, I think we're seeing it right there on Tessa Blanchard's face. That's what it does to the psyche. It breaks you. You realize if one domino falls, the next domino is going to fall.
Tessa's starting to get mad.
Spitting on the ring.
Blanchard can be very, very frightening when she gets angry. But it is Baker dropping down to one knee, blocking the suplex attempt. Blanchard misses with the clothesline, and it is Baker with a cutter.
Tit for tat. Swinging fisherman suplex.
Nearly put it away.
I thought that was it, Rich. And you can hear everybody around us right now on their feet applauding. Hard to top that big female bout we had between Jordan Grace and Kylie Ray earlier. These women giving them a run for their money, Rich.
I thought Baker might have had it right there. As you said, Nick, I call it a fisherman neck breaker, what have you. But Blanchard very quickly has found herself in dire straits.
And this is Britt's opportunity.
Took a little too much time setting up for that
right
kick.
on her head. She dropped Britt right on her. I hope she is okay. That was vicious. That was gnarly.